One of the best and quickest way to learn secure programming is by seeing examples of insecure programs and try to fix it. This is what we have made available in Sectin Play. Sectin Play is a novel game for learning secure programming and secure infrastructure. It has a collection of security puzzles or challenges. Each challenge is a program or infrastructure code with a security issue. It could be a bug, a vulnerability, or a weakness inside the infrastructure code. Our goal as the player is to find the security issue and fix it, and by then we will get the score for that challenge. Every challenge is a containerized app. The Git repository or source code for that app is given to us. This repository is private and is a forked, which means that we can read and write to it. We can explore the repository files in the browser, edit the code, and save it. We can also run the app locally on our workstation, test it, find the security issue, fix it, and later push that to the remote repository. Anytime we save or push the code, the changes will go to our remote Git repository, and the server will start running a number of tests against our code. If those tests pass, we will be given the score of the challenge. Otherwise, we can try again and try to solve the challenge if the challenge timer has not ended. Let's go through one example together. Scroll down to JavaScript game. Click introduction.js. This is an introduction challenge. It's not a program with a security bug. It only helps us to learn how to use Sectin Play. Hit play and hit let's do this. Open up the README to see the description of the challenge. As we can see here, in this challenge we have 1 hour to solve this, and we can try this challenge 10 times. So anytime this 1 hour ends, let's say if it ends once, there are gonna be 9 tries left for me. Click on this so the instruction is hidden. This is the content of that repository that has been given to us. We can find a directory called source. This is where we are going to spend our most time. Inside the source directory, we can see the main code or app.js and 2 tests. First one being usability or functionality test, and second being the security tests. We also have package.json file which contains all the dependencies that is required to run this program. We have divided the test into 2 files. Usability tests always pass when you have been given a clone or a copy of this repository. However, the security test will not pass. Our aim effectively is to pass all these tests while not breaking the usability one. Security tests are quite interesting because they will try to test the program for that weakness or security issue. They are examples of an adversary attempt in exploiting our app. They will help us or give us hints where to find the insecure issue or where to find that insecure pattern. And once we fix the main program, these tests will pass. One thing we should remember, there is no point to change the tests because all these tests will be overwritten anytime we push or save our code. So our focus should be always inside the main program. And one last thing, I mentioned about tests that are running on the server. These tests are example of the test usability or security tests that have been given to you. So in trivial challenges, all those example of tests that server will run against our code has been given to us in terms of both usability and security tests. In harder challenges, some of the security tests may be missing. With that, let's look at the main program just to understand what this code is about. If we scroll down, we can see this program is using Express, a famous framework in JavaScript, or Node, and we can ignore quite a many these lines here and go to this line. We can see there is it's a web application, and the root of this web application will return HTTP 200 or OK with the string hello, comma. These things on the bottom are just effectively to get the app running locally. Now let's go back and this time have a look at the functionality or usability tests. These are effectively a specification for us to understand how the app should behave or should not behave. We can see here the request to the root should return 200. In this other test, the request to the root should contain the word hello. So this is this assertion here that checks if the if the response is 200 when we send the request to root. And this assertion here will check if the response code, or res.text in this case, will return hello. How we can run this test without running this app locally? Let's go back to our main code and this time hit edit here and just do a sample comment here, just a quick change. Now if you scroll down, hit on commit and test, there are two buttons here, hit on commit and test. This now saved our code to the remote repository that we have, which is private for us. And as you can see here, the server testing has started. It will go through a number of steps: cloning, initialization, and testing. And inside the testing phase is where the usability and server tests will be executed. In this case, we can see the usability tests is a pass. So we can see 2 tests passed. However, security test has failed. And we can also see why these tests are failing. Expected string was sectim, the received string was hello. So now is a good time to go and have a look at our security tests. We only have one test here. It sends the request to the root. It expects to receive 200, and also it expects to see sectim in the HTTP response body. Well, let's go back to the main code and make this change. On line 20, type sectim, and that should be it. This time I expect the usability, the test should pass. Also the security test should pass. And if that's so, I should get the score for this challenge. Congratulations. One thing to remember here is that to solve the challenges, we can import or include existing dependencies, what we cannot install new dependencies. So always try to find your own solution anytime you want to solve this challenge. And as I mentioned, the better way to run the challenges is to run it locally, which I will cover it in the next guide.